you put me up on shore, then I can get.
All right, it's 5:30. We are live.
Then when I get in the boat.
All right,
all the guys are
welcome.
Standing there behind me, making sure I'm getting in the boat, you know, stuff. And I get all settled.
Ready, Commissioner Kenny?
Okay.
Okay. Today is the regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission on Monday, July 27th, 2026. Tiffany, would you please call us to order?
Yes, Jessica Bolerman.
Here.
Jim Craig.
Here.
Dylan Feldman.
Here.
Kenny Jones.
Here.
Adam Kirkpatrick. Sherry Monahan.
Here.
Kevin Neef.
Here.
Thank you for doing roll call. That was the
Yeah.
call to order. Next is the approval of the agenda. Could I get a motion
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Okay, next is the approval of April 27th, 2026 minutes. I will take a motion and a second.
So moved.
Thanks, Kenny. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Okay, item 4, the Community Development Director's Report.
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
So just a quick update, so keep you guys posted on the FY 26, so that's July of 25 till end of June of 26. And so the city of Hiawatha took in 99 new dwelling unit permits compared to 25 in FY 25. So this was a bigger year. This was a bigger bump. Total permit valuation, the total valuation of the permits that we brought in, 68,800,000. So that's a good year in our records. So that's one of the top years in the last 10 years. And so we're pretty excited about that. So something to think about is when these projects go through, staff does inspections. And so FY 26, we did 1,691 inspections throughout the year at different stages of project completion. So that's pretty nice. And I'd like to welcome Lucas Pump. He is our new assistant building official. And so Lucas,
Do you want me to introduce myself?
Sure.
Okay. My name is Lucas Pump. I came from the city of Cedar Rapids. I worked in the building department for over 16 years. I did various inspections, all trades, got certified in all the trades for residential and commercial, so kind of a jack of all trades, if you will. So yeah, I look forward to coming here. I take over for Jim, and it's been good so far. I've been heavily involved with the International Code Council with code development and on the international level, so I'm on several committees. I won't worry with all that, but yeah, good to be here. Glad to be part of this.
Welcome.
so just a reminder, in addition to Tiffany, myself, and Lucas, we have 2 additional inspectors. So that do all types of building inspections, rental inspections, nuisance inspections. So just an update on that. And an update on projects that have recently come before you. Sherman's for 12th edition, that was the single lot subdivision on Anchor Drive. That was for the thermal shop. So we are in review of building plans for that one. The core, which was on last meeting's agenda, we have received in building plans for the mixed use building that's going to front Robbins Road. So we're currently in review of those building plans as well. So those are coming about quickly. And then we kind of perpetually have inquiries about new residential. Where can we do new residential? So that's a plus.
Did they secure a restaurant yet for the core?
I'm not aware. I'm not always privy to those.
Okay. Awesome. Any questions from Kesha? All right, thanks, Kesha. All right, business. Number 5, consider a resolution recommending city council approval of the final plat submitted by Hall & Hall Engineers for the property known as Igram? Am I saying it right?
Igram.
I
Igram?
call it Igram with that.
Igram, okay.
Igram too, because you want to slip that R.
Igram Village, First Edition in Hiawatha, Lynn County, Iowa. I will ask for a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Is there anyone present to speak on behalf of the request?
Susan Fortnash from Hiawatha Engineers. So, I guess I can talk loud if you can hear me. And I don't have anything to really present, but I can ask questions. You guys have seen this quite a while ago when we came through with the preliminary plat for the townhomes that will be built on each of these 4 lots. And then the right-of-way dedication to extend Parsons Drive up to Northwood Drive. And then various easements and things like that to get utilities and everything up there, so. We're just finishing up paving, I believe, the street, so they're anxious to get the building going very quickly.
Awesome. Is there any discussion or questions from the commission?
I have a question. I'm fine with this, so don't take me wrong, but I'm in a suit where a developer had a development agreement with a city, and the city decided after he did part of it, they had too many apartments. And so they tried to block it. Now there's a big battle. Do we know whether we're overbuilt, underbuilt in terms of apartment living in our city? That's a figure that they have, and I've never heard of it. Do we know that?
I don't know, I know that when they did the last housing study, there was a significant need for rental units within Hiawatha. I'm not so sure that we've rerun those numbers once that the complex at 100 Boysen came in, but I think we're still.
Okay, well, that's what I was wondering, because
Yep.
if we approve something in advance and we decide we're overbuilt, we're kind of stuck. I think we're stuck. But I just wondered if that was something we studied, so that when we got something as large as that, we know whether we're overbuilt or underbuilt.
And this one receives some housing tax credits as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's not against this. it's-
Yeah, and I know that like the Boysen, the commons on Boysen, that, I know that's fully leased. I believe with the waiting
Fully
list
rented.
for people to get in there.
Awesome.
So I mean, I know as they were building, people were really inquiring about that, so.
Okay.
And I'm sure the developer of this, did his own research, so he knows that there is a need for these.
From my commercial banking experience, they would have to prove that when going in for a bank loan as well, just the need
Right,
and
Exactly,
yeah.
yep,
occupancy rates. and-
correct,
Yeah.
yep. And that goes along with the workforce housing tax credits too. They
Yeah.
show need and to get those tax credits.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, I will ask for a roll call vote on the motion to consider resolution recommending city council approval of the final plat submitted by Hall & Hall Engineers for the property known as Igram Village First Edition in Hiawatha, Lynn County, Iowa.
Jim Craig,
Aye.
Dylan Feldman,
Aye.
Kenny Jones, Sherry Monahan,
Aye.
Kevin Neef,
Aye.
Jessica Bullerman.
All right. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, 5B, public input meeting. We are going to consider resolution recommending city council approval of amended section 165.21.1 in the land use matrix regarding essential services within Hiawatha, Lynn County, Iowa. We will open the public meeting right now at 5:39. Tiffany,
Thank you.
are there any written or oral comments received by the clerk?
There are not.
Seeing no one in the audience to speak for or against the motion or the action, are there any staff comments?
So I noted in my report that this was brought about by someone interested in doing, I don't want to call it a substation, but some sort of mini substation. And so it kind of called the question. So I started looking at our code and I found that it wasn't quite clear because it called them as essential services and it says, well, they're conditional uses. Well, then our land use matrix, as I have in here, never called them out where they should be conditional uses. And so this is just a clarifying item of when it reaches up above, so it talks about local essential services, those are your lines, those are your small boxes, like within the right of way, right? So those are permitted in easements and rights of way. And so when it gets to those community scale, this is where it calls it out, where we feel that they should be conditional uses. And as you'll see in the land use matrix, there's two, one says existing and one's proposed. So we have it proposed in the commercial and industrial districts. And so then that would, conditional use as a reminder would come to the planning and zoning commission, and then it goes to the board of adjustment for final approval. And so that gives you the time to look for, do we want screening? Is that fencing? Is that landscaping? You know, is there, certain noise to be considered or whatnot, that it come before you, before it goes to the board of adjustment. Any questions?
I have one. So this C's, the red C means that's the only area those type of things are allowed in. So, and other than the 25% limitation for expansion, if they have an existing substation, for instance, somewhere in a different zoning district, and they want to do it larger, that's not, doesn't become, well, strike that. If they want to do 25%, is that a conditional use at that time? They're going to have to evaluate it as such?
Yes, they would.
And the only reason I say is if you're concerned about fencing and screening, things like that, wouldn't it apply to that, even though we're grandfathering it in?
Well, I mean, that it's grandfathered in, but it's not allowed in there moving forward. So if they would make any changes, they would have to, any changes would still have to go through, even if it doesn't meet that 25%, if it's not in that correct zoning, right?
Right.
So 25% is a conditional use essentially though, but you
Yeah.
wouldn't mark it as such, it's just gonna be grandfathered in.
Yep.
And do we have anywhere they're gonna come in and say, wait a minute, that really restricts us? Or, I don't know where we have them, but
I'm trying to think of when we were looking at, we don't have too many in town. I'm trying to think of a substation on Robbins Road. That might even be Robbins though. Where else we have them? It was kind of tricky to find them in town to say where we have them, but then it was one of those conversations that we want to be able to have some sort of regulation if they do want to expand or locate additional facilities.
But if, as Dylan said, that if they're doing a 25% expansion, you're gonna be reviewing all these things that you would do as a conditional use automatically under the code already.
Yes.
Okay, that's my question.
Okay.
Need a motion?
I'm going to end the public meeting if there are no additional comments or new information from anyone. Okay. End the public meeting at 5:43. I will ask for a motion in a second, please.
Motion.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, discussion from commission members. This would be your time to make comments pro or con regarding their thoughts on the request. Okay. If there are any additions, amendments, or changes to the motion? Hearing none, I will ask for a roll call vote on the motion to consider resolution recommending city council approval of amended section 165.21.1 and the land use matrix regarding essential services within Hiawatha, Lynn County, Iowa.
Dylan Feldman,
Aye.
Kenny Jones,
Aye.
Sherry Monahan,
Aye.
Kevin Neef,
Aye.
Jessica Bullerman,
Aye.
Jim Craig.
Motion approved. All right, the second public input meeting. This is to consider resolution recommending city council approval of amended chapter 165 regarding accessory dwelling units or ADUs within Hiawatha, Lynn County, Iowa. Open the public meeting. It is 5:44. I will ask for a motion in a second.
Motion, so moved.
Thank you, thank you. There is no one here to speak for or against. I believe we'll have lots of discussion from the commission. You were having some when I first came in. I had to look up what an ADU was. I now know that. Can you tell us a little bit more about why you feel like this is a necessary thing? It sounded like something was changed at a state level and,
So in 2025, state legislation required cities and counties allow accessory dwelling units on any lot that has a single family residential use already.
you have to do it?
Yes.
Oh.
You have to allow it. And then in here, it talks about there's limitations. You have to allow it. You can't require special permitting for it. So some communities have allowed them as an conditional use, and so it'll go before the Planning and Zoning Commission, and the state says, no, you can't require special exceptions to that. And it can be on a single family residential lot, and so it's not like you're gonna have a fourplex that says, we wanna put a little accessory dwelling unit out in the back. It's a single family lot that's all for single family, and then you can have an accessory dwelling unit. So the state put in parameters, again, some communities already allow these, and the state came in and said, shall not exceed 1,000 square feet. So back to the question, they can do it smaller, but when they come in and say, I want 1,000 square foot accessory dwelling unit, so a separate building, so they can be attached or detached, and the city has to allow them to do that. I'm trying to think. So no special permitting is required other than standard. I mean, so we do say that they still need to meet all of the building codes, zoning setbacks and the like. But
Does that include covenants?
and so
of,
private covenants would still supersede
Okay,
that. I mean, so if your covenants say you can't have a certain type of fence, the city's not gonna say you have to, you know? So if your covenants would cover that, I assume that would cover the city.
If the covenant says you can't have an additional dwelling unit, does that stand even though the
Yes.
state law says otherwise?
It would stand.
So stand.
The covenants, I think, overrules that. Until that's done, they hold all the power.
Yeah, unless they vote to adopt.
Yeah, this is just making sure the city can't restrict it, and so the city is not restricting the ADU, but it doesn't, I don't think that law said that
So that's
covenants just can't.
What I was asking you is like, come to place over there. My little house is only like 920 square feet. If I want to put the wife out in a shed in the back, 450, is that fine?
Well, right at the
But
start,
you
that's
said-
why I said yes, at the start, it says 660 minimum,
660 minimum, yeah.
with 24-foot.
I ain't spending that
minimum.
much on her.
Area.
Is there a lot size restriction or is that all determined by the setbacks and the
By the
size of the
setbacks.
existing home?
Yep.
Okay, so there's no lot too small.
Well, I
I mean,
mean,
it would be if they don't meet those codes, but other than that, it's a part of this.
Yeah.
particular ordinance.
Well, as you said, like one example is like if they wanted to put something on top of a garage, another dwelling on top.
But we got a height limit, don't we, 15 feet? I think. Isn't there a height limit on the building, on the roof? If I remember right, somewhere in here.
I have to look at that. You're right. That
I've
does
seen
sound.
something on it.
I know, but that was a lot
down.
of the discussion at the legislature is putting the second story on there.
I thought I seen it somewhere.
25 feet of it.
I messed up this part.
There was something about a
The
15
20
foot
foot
height.
height.
I don't see that height limit though.
We started it. Just here down here.
oh,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, within 15 adjacent property, okay, that's what I see.
well, it says in 2 detached buildings is located partially or completely in a required rear yard not to exceed 15 feet in height.
That's it.
What number is that?
That's E, that's on page 2E2F. So just up a little more, right there.
Not to exceed 15. Okay.
There you go.
And I don't
Is
recall seeing anything in here about it, requirements on how it would look like the existing dwelling.
Yeah, where's 15 feet?
Correct.
This.
And that's not in our purview, or could it be?
For a single family home?
No, for the ACU or ADU. Requires some sort of
I mean,
To look like the primary
standard
structure.
to look like the primary
I don't think you
structure.
do anything about with the state.
Oh, here.
I don't
So that's
recall,
been-
part of me says that no, you couldn't limit that either, but, and if you guys wanna table this, I already know we have a submittal for next month. And so.
You don't want someone putting a yellow ADU in their backyard if their house is blue?
I couldn't have that happen in my neighborhood, thankfully, but I'm trying to think of other places that don't have strict covenants. And I would hate for something super ugly to go up unintentionally when we could make it at least appear to be similar to the,
Yeah.
look
Like
of
you got
the,
a nice vinyl sided house and all of a sudden they put barn metal red on it or something, you know?
yeah, I
it's a
mean, it
whole
just,
building
yeah, if it just,
siding, yeah.
sticks out,
Mhm.
I would hate that. I mean, nothing right now could preclude my neighbor painting their house pink either, but
Yeah.
I could try to have an opinion on that.
Does that 15 feet apply to subsection 3, accessory dwellings? Well, they're talking about two different things, detached buildings, and then they establish a category for accessory dwelling.
Yeah, it looks like it only attaches, it does the detached buildings.
Those are for satellite dishes. All of those subsets, right?
But they seem like different
Satellite.
things.
It says
Yeah.
detached buildings and residential, detached buildings and residential or commercial settlements in it. So it's the detached
So that'd be like
buildings.
sheds or garages in the backyard, or,
But
right, that number 2?
Okay, so what though if they build it on top of the garage so it's not detached? So then they could do it anyway, because you have 2-story houses, so.
But the key thing is if you have a single story like I do, you're not gonna have a garage that's 2-story.
Understood. But I can see where people would
Yeah.
maybe add on to the garage, but if it's not detached, I guess that wouldn't apply.
Well, in this one, it says it shall, 3D, it says it shall meet setback height limitations and bulk requirements applicable to 1-unit dwellings. The zoning district, so I'm assuming that we have height in our restrictions in our single-family housing zoning that would apply.
Three habitable stories and 45, not that far. Sorry. 3 habitable stories are 35 feet for the R1, 3 habitable stories or 35 feet for the R3. Those are your predominant single family lots.
So that would include the basement and then two floors.
Yeah, walkout basement.
Where did this come from? Is this something that's been adopted by a lot of cities? The addition of 2?
I would say it's very similar.
Okay, so
Similar, not the same. I would say it's Marion.
okay.
Was the one that was easiest to read.
Okay, I have 2 questions. If you look at 3, this is mine, but if you look at consistency of titling, they, up above 2, detached buildings, residential or commercial satellite districts, and then they repeat it in the body.
Mm.
Down here, we have accessory dwelling units, but we don't repeat it in the body, and yet everywhere else we do. I don't know if that matters to you, but.
Yes.
And the other question I had is, it talks about on H of the new section, it talks about 25 feet from the property line. That would be from the street, right? From the property line at the street, right?
Yes, if
Okay.
it did have a garage door.
Okay,
And so right now, Hiawatha does not have any required setbacks for garage doors. And so
I see.
if it was one of those that had, maybe garage in front and accessory dwelling unit behind it, maybe not above, but behind it, it still requires it to be set back. And so you're not trying to,
okay, well, I just want to make sure that you can't have a garage door open up on something other than the street. I mean, I could see people have them because they put their lawn equipment and stuff like that, but I'm assuming.
but
And then,
that's the difference, size wise. I mean, if it's a garden shed, then
so does an accessory dwelling unit have to include a kitchen, a bathroom, a bedroom? All those things have to be
Yep.
included? Okay,
And have access for emergency services, so you'd have to have an access point.
Yeah, that's on, this E.
and so it can either, so if there's a sidewalk from the ADU to either some sort of sidewalk to the house, and then it gets you down the driveway, or if there's, there's a standalone sidewalk clear out to the road, that's one of those as well. And fire, our fire department has reviewed this as well for, of how we would address these. It's still gonna be one address, and then just different suites on those.
Does it have to be a permanent building, or can it be like a?
Can't have wheels or
Yeah.
be like a,
Yeah, it says it in
No.
there too, I think,
Right.
down further.
Should have foundation and all that.
I or L.
can be temporary or wheeled or portable.
You're gonna have plumbing, which is required as part of the building code, so ADU has to comply with the building code. So building code says bathroom, kitchen.
Yeah.
Right, you need space, so it's gotta be on a frost protected foundation no matter what.
Yep.
Because you can't have plumbing in a building approved space.
Yeah, and
But
that's
it
an,
could be like a
that's an O.
right?
You could sneak in a manufactured home,
Right.
just so you know. I'll guarantee you the state of Iowa will allow it. You're not, Hiawatha can't beat that. You cannot, I've seen too many fights over that. You can't beat them. So if they could build a little manufactured home like they have in Marion, them little 40-footers, if it fit in the range, it would fit on there.
and you have tiny homes on wheels too, don't you? So I suppose if
They
they're
gotta have a
fixed,
foundation, and that's what they do. They put in a foundation around them. Set them right on.
That would be
Did
I
you
doubt
say
anybody
you
would go
have-
to that expense to do it though.
does what a mobile home is made of, how they're made, how they look and everything like that fit within the requirements for residential homes?
Is that correct here?
mobile homes.
Mobile
So, my understanding is mobile homes have certification. They are their own
Yep.
little building codes that they follow. And so we're saying that they need to meet, IRC standards. Those, they're not the same.
Yes, manufactured homes are inspected by a third party, not a city. Like, so when a new mobile home comes to Hiawatha, we don't necessarily do inspection. It's already been done, it's already got stamped, and it's already been third party inspected. Whereas this new accessory dwelling unit would have to be subject to the building or the IRC, so it would be different. That's how I think there's a way to put a mobile home in the backyard.
Can you put a mobile home on an empty lot too
Yes.
in Hiawatha
Yes.
if there's a
If
foundation?
you put a foundation under it, you sure can.
Because they look so dramatically different. You're
Right.
inviting, it's a valid point, you're inviting a very different look in a residential neighborhood if you could put a mobile
And we
home.
do have restrictions, so I would say no, a mobile home can't go on a single family lot. There are width requirements. And so that was again to get mobile homes in a mobile home community and then have standalone requirements for single family homes.
Or just 22 feet.
But that's what made me think of it. We have them in a restricted, different area. So all of a sudden, we're gonna allow them in residential neighborhoods.
I
And you're
don't,
saying no.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't foresee that being allowed.
Okay.
According to Iowa Realtors, municipalities are explicitly prohibited from forcing an ADU to match the primary home's roof pitch, siding materials, or exterior finishing details.
When these go up, we're gonna have a crowd.
I don't see anyone putting any of them up anytime.
Well, maybe that takes care of it, but no, I mean, we can't stop them from being allowed, but I can see people coming in the neighborhood saying, wait a minute, this changes the character of our neighborhood. Particularly if it's a mobile home. And now you got all these tiny homes, which a lot of times are very attractive, but you can put a tiny home in as an auxiliary building. As long as you have a foundation. And all it needs is footings, doesn't need a basement.
Right.
But I don't know that you have much choice. It's just interesting trying to think of all those possibilities.
Yeah. Did
Just
you
cross your
say you thought you would have one next month, or we could table and do a little
We
bit more
do.
research?
Already have submittal for design guidelines review for next month. But your reading of that, it's like that. I would say my first reaction was to say that I heard that you're not allowed to do design requirements on ADUs, but I can certainly verify that.
So you have someone asking for an ADU?
No,
Oh,
no, we already have an item for next month's P and Z.
oh, got
So
it.
if you,
Oh,
if
okay.
it's collectively as a whole, if anybody
Now I'm
wanted
with
to
you.
table it, if
Got
there's any questions that you prefer answered, I can get back with the city attorney if we want any additional.
Say it look horrible, let's say, just use me as an example, let's say I put one, I got wood siding, and I throw one up and I put roof metal, even barn metal on it. Doesn't it look horrible? I think there ought to be some kind of verbiage in there, if it's allowed. It
And
needs
it
to match
could be
what you
consistent
have.
with the neighborhood or something like that.
Yeah,
without being
something.
restrictive.
Well, I mean, all those houses are putting up the tin
I
siding
know,
now.
I know, I think I need it, but I don't care if they put it on the back, or, maybe on a side that's got trees by it or something, but not in the front of your house.
Or
That's
if it's
horrible.
consistent, even if they do use that material, if the other also matches it or goes with the same theme, I guess. Even if you could just put in a little statement or a little couple words.
But then do we require that for housing? Could somebody put up a totally different house on a lot in one of our neighborhoods?
That's under the developers say, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but we probably have empty lots that might be sold privately, and then you want to put up a house and it might be a totally different structure from what's in the neighborhood. And I
Especially if it's
assume we don't
outside of
restrict
the-
that.
Outside of the
No.
HOA, yeah.
Yeah.
And so if we don't restrict that, can we restrict it as it relates to although to me it is different, but I'm not sure you can get away with it.
And what you read said that you can't put restrictions on it.
According to Iowa Realtors. So this passed over a year ago, and now people are just starting to, so it hasn't caught on like wildfire, but I just feel like it would be nice if we could see, maybe do a little bit more research on how we could limit it to try to, not limit it, but put guidelines so we don't end up with eyesores.
So,
That's tricky.
Yeah.
I think the state was trying to create an easy path for someone to put an accessory dwelling unit on their property.
so at this point, the state has a law and we have nothing in ours on ADUs, right? So wouldn't it be smarter to pass this and then come up with more ideas so that we at least have the minimum amount that you have here? And then if you guys want to add more stuff, we can come back and revisit it at a later time. So that way we at least have something on here now.
Does that lend us anything in addition to what the state mandates?
Say that again?
Like us bringing this into Hiawatha does, I mean, the state's already saying you have to allow it, right? Does this give Hiawatha anything in addition to that?
Well, does the state have the 25-foot garage setback from the property line rule? No, so those rules that we have here are above and beyond what the state requires. And so right now, if they wanted to do one, they wouldn't have to necessarily follow this. So if
It
you
would
want,
just give us a benefit.
yeah, passing it.
I'm just trying to think
Is
of
there an active request for
different
this? There's
possibilities.
no active request. We're just trying to fill a gap that we've identified. So if there's not an ask right now, would it be reasonable to hold off for another month just to have further review? Or are we nervous that somebody's gonna come in and request this and then we'll lose the?
If between now and next month, someone comes in to request, what happens?
They don't have to request it,
Right now, it's not allowed.
right?
Even though the state allows it, our code doesn't allow it, so we're gonna have an opportunity to restrict it, but I don't disagree with what Dylan says either,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to think of possibilities. So another one that I've thought of is they build it in the backyard, they want a garage with it. The setbacks on the side yard are sufficient that they can run a driveway all the way from the back of the yard to the front.
It says in here that there's only one driveway per lot. So if they have a front driveway, they wouldn't be able to do another driveway.
That's, I don't think,
It's like emergency.
there's one in here that says if,
They can connect,
They
they
can
can
connect.
connect their driveway. It
yeah,
just has to be the one driveway pulling in.
Okay.
Curb right into it.
Yeah, I mean, are you saying connect to the street or connect to their existing driveway?
Connect to the existing driveway.
okay, all right. I
They-
just,
Yeah, it just says one driveway access for the property to the street.
But your concern is they might wanna put in a separate driveway to the second dwelling?
but so then what's H mean? The vehicle access door of any new garage associated with construction of an ADU shall be set back a minimum 25 feet from the property line. That suggests you can have a different driveway.
It does, doesn't it?
Pardon me?
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah,
No, that just says that garage door needs to be 25 foot, but F says each one unit shall only have a limited to one access point.
where's that? Is
It's
that on
that's the
Except for if it's a corner lot or a double wide lot.
Yeah, like I think about my lot, if I wanted to put something in the back, my driveway's up here, I'd want something off to the side, accessing the street.
yeah, and this number F says that you're only allowed one unless you have a corner or double wide lot.
And so that's our standard. So if it's a corner lot, a lot of times you'll have your house facing forward, then you'll have an accessory shed in the back that you want an extra access to from your corner lot. That would be, it's approval by the city engineer typically, and it goes back to suit us if they say one property, one access point. You know, it's engineer's discretion. Is there visual clearance issues that you might want, and the lot allows for a circle drive, those aren't usually around anymore, but.
So if they did want this type of property or addition on their property, then they would have to go through a different review to get a separate access point. Correct. So that would cover that.
It's not, yeah, it's not a given that they get that.
To go back to the question of whether we adopt it now or not, what questions after this discussion do you have that you'd like to look at further? Any?
No, I guess I thought our accessory dwelling units and our residential requirements would prohibit the mobile home building code requirements, would prohibit construction of a mobile home. The height requirement is an interesting caveat of, does it go back to number 2? Looking at the requirements for setbacks, and that, in my mind, we were referring back to 2 for all detached buildings. Accessory dwelling units just had the extra caveats of how they were allowed. And so the 15-foot height is interesting. I don't think a deal breaker for me. As far as if somebody does come in next month and wants to build a new garage and accessory dwelling unit over it, we clarify that at that time. As far as the matching the house, I don't know that that's, I can look into it if you want me to.
So that's the only thing is it consistent, the language, something like consistent with existing neighborhood or something like that. Is it easier to do it if we wait and then you look into it than it is to approve it and then have to go back and amend it?
It's another public hearing.
Did you have to post notice for?
It's an ordinance amendment. It's not unmanageable.
I mean, you would need to do that for the detached buildings as well then too. I mean, because we're not requiring that sheds be consistent.
That's a good point.
And I actually don't agree with making it consistent. That should be covered by the HOA or something. But yeah, sheds aren't required to be
You got a point
consistent.
there. It's true.
And I can point at every single person in my neighborhood does not have a consistent shed with their house. So,
Could we explicitly, one of the bullets be that the covenants of your HOA trump any of the, the,
Sorry, it does.
you don't need a double
But
statement.
we don't enforce HOAs.
HOA covenants, it's your cover.
Those are private, and so that's the tricky part is public ordinance saying that private ordinance always trumps
okay,
ours. I'd be hesitant to do that. And especially depending on the age of the homeowners association, to say that an outdated
yeah.
restriction is, I think that just is kind of tricky. For the HOA, it's a private issue that we stay out of.
Okay.
I don't have a problem approving it with the idea that we can look at that. My problem with the consistency is I think we're gonna get neighborhood complaints and we don't have an ability to adjust. I mean, you could get some really obnoxious
Mm-hmm.
buildings that totally don't fit in the neighborhood. And we don't have a mechanism within this to cajole, encourage adjustments in what they're proposing. And so I think that's worthy of a further investigation if we could do it with general language that gave the city a little flexibility. Otherwise, I don't have a problem approving it because it's coming. We're going to have to deal with it personally. But I do think that's worth a little flexible, providing the city a little flexibility on the issue.
So there's, with Robert's rules, there's the option we can go through
I'm
and
fine.
do it, or tabling is more for emergency purposes if we had a speaker or something. So we could postpone it and set an exact date to our next regular meeting. So I just wanted to get that out there. We wouldn't table it because then we would bring it back up this meeting. So we'd want to postpone it if that's the route you want to go. Or we can go through with it and amend later.
What's your preference? Do you think you need it on the books?
Preferably, but
Let's do it.
Let's do it then. I mean, as long as you think we can
Yeah.
add that language later.
I'm not confident that we can add that language later, but
Well, I understand that, but I mean,
Yes.
we're gonna research it, and if we can, then we can,
yes.
then we can
We
add
can
it.
amend.
That's a double positive, I think, but yeah.
Okay, procedurally, I need to end the public meeting, which I should have, but there's no public here. So that ended at 6:13. And if we are ready, I
Make a
will.
motion, or no, we already made a
Nope, we already
motion.
made a motion. I
Okay.
would ask for a roll call vote if everyone's ready next, okay?
Okay,
Ask for a roll call vote on the motion to consider resolution recommending city council approval of amended chapter 165 regarding accessory dwelling units within Hiawatha, Lynn County, Iowa.
Kenny Jones,
Aye.
Sherry Monahan,
Aye.
Kevin Neef,
All right.
Jessica Bullerman,
Aye.
Jim Craig,
Aye.
Dylan Feldman.
All right.
Motion passes. All right, our third public input meeting of the evening, and I believe our final, yes. Consider resolution recommending city council approval of amended section 165.58 regarding construction standards within Hiawatha, Lynn County, Iowa. We'll open the public meeting. It is 6:15. Are there any written or oral comments received by the clerk?
There has not.
Okay, there is no one to speak on behalf or against. Are there any staff comments?
This was similar to the essential services. This was more clarifying wording. The 5 years and 75% of the subdivision being developed, that's similar language as Cedar Rapids and Marion. And so that was one of those things. Ideally, we won't have to use it, but at the same time, we'd like to integrate those consistently in our subdivision agreements with developers. And so having it in our code just helps us reinforce that.
I personally like it. Our neighborhood took a while to sell the last few lots, and then there was the sidewalk that ended. You had to go out to the street and around if it was muddy, versus them just paving the sidewalk so you could have a consistent walk in your own neighborhood. And then I'm assuming the grading is so they can't just pile up a hill forever and it's an eyesore while they try to sell the lot.
Yeah,
Which
and
is
that was,
also,
and this is similar wording to Marion as we were looking through our construction standards. Like, that's another good clarifying point to
agreed.
add.
And development, like she's talking about, it would be the developer that has to pay for that sidewalk. It's not.
Correct.
Finished
If
within 5
they
years.
still own the lot. And so in some instances, you may have a house,
Oh,
a
okay.
property owner that buys the adjacent lot, and if they don't build anything on it, then the sidewalk never gets installed. And so this is also one of those,
Another
it
good
makes
reason.
it privately owned.
Another good reason, yeah.
Yep, or someone, I think we have one example where they've owned it for a number of years. So it's privately owned, it's no longer the developer, but they just never built a house on it for whatever reason, that it would still allow us to have that put in.
So, as the lawyer, I keep thinking of my hypothetical. They've owned the lot for 10 years. They haven't fixed it up. We passed this. Do they have to do it immediately? I mean, can we go in and require it immediately, or do we have to wait another 5 years? So we can go in and,
Well,
You'd probably give them time.
yeah, I think,
Yeah.
I'm sure we would, but I'm just saying, can we go in
yeah,
and
that's an
say,
interesting,
hey,
that's an interesting one.
I'm assuming you'd have to give them the 5 years since you can't just say retroactively.
Correct. Correct.
But I mean, you probably send out notices, hey, you got 5 years. If you want to, we can put it on our next program and we can get it constructed now cheaper than waiting 5 years.
Yeah.
And you probably can run the assessment out for longer too, over a couple more years.
Didn't we have a situation over here? I don't think we made them wait the 5 years over on 18th. It was like that one single lot. They didn't have it. It was back when Pat was here, but we didn't give them 5 years. It's developed around you because last time we amended this was 94. So we went off of that and it was,
So there's a sidewalk policy that the council sets that says we can do sidewalk gaps, but this goes after more so the subdivisions when they're not.
gotcha, okay.
Subdivision as a whole.
so are you saying that the old code addresses this for private?
Just for sidewalks. I was thinking sidewalk primarily then,
something?
so.
Yeah.
Is there a reason concrete was added? Does the city supplemental restrict asphalt?
In the right of way?
Yeah. Because sidewalk is allowed to be under SUDAS to be as asphalt, so.
Are you aware of any asphalt in town on a sidewalk?
No, but I'm just saying unless the city cuts it out of SUDAS too in their supplemental specifications, the contractors, no one's gonna bring asphalt out to do it, but I mean, SUDAS also allows brick, so.
This was even keeping with,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Cedar Rapids or Marion.
I'd hate to have a situation where it's all neighborhoods.
And I know in both of those specs, they specifically state concrete too. So they, in the SUDA supplementals, they exclude the other items.
I just hate to have a neighborhood with all cement sidewalks except this one house is
Yeah.
blacktop.
Yeah, I know. Just make sure that you're consistent throughout the other manuals. And then 75%, so once 75% of those houses, you'll send them notice saying, hey, get your sidewalks built.
Yeah, and that's the ability to do that.
Yeah.
So if it's not quite the 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, so say they build out the majority, 80% within 3 years.
Does that happen frequently? So the 5 years will typically.
Typically. But in the instance, it gives us more flexibility. So,
In our neighborhood's at like 12 years now or something, and just the last couple are being installed now.
Mhm.
Maybe it would have been nicer within 5 years to have it done.
Yeah,
and so the premise of that is so that way you don't install the sidewalk and then bust it up when you construct it.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the downside, is if you do have a viable lot, that you're putting that in and potentially disrupting that. So, and again, on that 75%, if you have the developer to say,
We're
"Give me
almost
another
there.
6 months and I can
Sure,
do some more, I think we look at that.
but it's also more fair for people coming in and say, hey, I want to buy the neighbor's lot. They should know what their obligation is. I don't think you took a motion, but I would.
well, I also didn't end the public meeting again, so I apologize. We'll end the public meeting at 6:21. I will ask for a motion in a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We've had a lot of robust discussion, but we could have a little bit more if needed. Okay, and no amendments. We're fine with the concrete.
Yeah, I am.
All right, time for a roll call. Chair, I ask for a roll call vote on the motion to consider resolution recommending city council approval of amended section 165.58 regarding construction standards within Hiawatha, Lynn County, Iowa.
Sherry Monahan,
Aye.
Kevin Neef,
Aye.
Jessica Bolerman,
Aye.
Jim Craig,
Aye.
Dylan Feldman,
Aye.
Kenny Jones.
Okay, motion approved. Our last agenda item, could I have a motion and a second to adjourn
So
at
moved.
6:22? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So Dylan and then
Yeah.
Kevin second. Thank you.
Does the city council then get the minutes from this meeting so that they get to see what? some-
You guys really don't have faith